Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Zero Hour. Let's talk about the planet a little bit. There's a report I want to share with you. And before we get started, I've just got to say the fact that this even needs to be said tells us there's been a breakdown in the democratic process. But I'm going to say it anyway. Our number one priority has to be protecting the planet for future generations. The fact that that's at all controversial in our political system is absolutely insane. But it is. So let's revisit that using this report and talking not just about saving the earth, which, sounds like a good idea, right? Let's not just talk about saving the earth, but let's talk about the economic benefits that we can gain from acting as a nation to save the earth. Because here's what we find out. We find out that green energy, smart energy, clean energy that helps preserve the planet will do an enormous amount to create jobs and spread wealth and address that wealth inequality that you hear everybody talking about, but nobody doing anything about. Green energy can do it. On the other hand, fossil fuel energy and projects like the Keystone XL pipeline make everything worse and only enrich a few people. So why aren't we pushing the kind that benefits everybody instead of a few and saves the planet? If you want to know why, follow the money. First of all, I call this the 99% plan. It's a plan written up by the Political Economy Research Institute and the Center for American Progress. So it's known as the Perry-CAP report. That's the acronym. And it's a plan to bring us in line with the international carbon emissions goals that were set recently, which is a 40% reduction of carbon dioxide emissions from 2005 levels by 2035. It can be done. Among the other observations the plan makes is that it can be done with roughly the same level of spending in alternative energy we've been making already in terms of government expenditures. Basically, I don't want to get bogged down in the numbers, but it would require about $200 billion a year in investment. The government share of that would be about $55 billion a year, which is in line with what we have been spending. And the total investment, public and private, would be less than half of what's invested in and on the oil and gas industry. So some of that money, nearly half of it, would go to raising the efficiency standard of buildings, transportation, and industrial equipment, which will save us all money, right? So that's a good thing. And the rest will go into renewable energy sources. Now, here's the best news of all. If you set aside saving the planet, which is the best news of all, net gain of 2.7 million jobs if we go forward with the plan like this. 2.7 million new jobs, which would lower the unemployment rate by 1.5%. Great news, right? Except that Republicans are openly hostile to any plan that vaguely resembles this. They fight them tooth and nail. They use the phony, ginned up example of one company, let's say Solyndra, to reject the whole idea, something they never do with their pals and their companies. So, of course, if you make 1,000 investments in alternative energy, one or two will go wrong. That's a given. But they use that to fight the things we need to do. They're not just sitting on their hands, though. They're pushing the Keystone XL pipeline, which could cost us billions in environmental catastrophes. A study says that it is likely to have 91 spills in the 50-year life of the constructed pipeline and could cost us a fortune in environmental devastation. It will also go by the largest source of fresh water in the United States. So why are we even talking about this? Because Republicans have been able to pretend that science isn't real, because they've been able to create an alternative reality where the planet is not in danger, where we don't need those 2.7 million jobs, and where nobody even separates fact from fiction. Now, we're going to have to keep fighting. This is Koch brothers are now throwing nearly $1 billion into the equation. But there's a lesson that we need to take away from this. Saving the planet, green energy, is redistributive. It helps everybody. Fossil fuel projects like Keystone XL only help the Koch brothers, their pals, and people like them. No wonder we have an entire party bought and paid for pushing Keystone XL type projects and fighting the kinds of projects that would help us all. But it is our mission to change that. We intend to stay on that beat. We intend to keep pushing smart proposals like this one and fighting for the planet, because that's what we're all here for, right? I'm Richard, RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero Hour.